Hey, I'm Mark, and welcome to my poor man's Gundam Versus review. Gundam Versus is a part of a long-running franchise known as the Gundam Versus franchise. Starting way back on the arcades with Gundam Federation vs. Zeon, which was then ported to the PS2, this is the first Gundam Versus game we've gotten in a long while, as we don't talk about Extreme vs. Force. Gundam Versus sports a long list of single-player modes like Survival, Boss Survival, and Trials, all of which aren't very good. They're alright for the novelty, but they don't accurately show the game for what it is. The meat of the game comes from the multiplayer, but the problem is, the multiplayer may trick people with its two additional modes, 1v1 and 3v3, both of which are memes. The game does not properly balance around those, so they as well are a novelty. 2v2 is the mode that the game is more or less balanced around, as the previous games focused more on the 2v2 aspect. Which leads me to the roster. The roster for the game is solid enough. It sports 0079, Zeta, Double Zeta, Char's Counterattack, Unicorn, Victory, F91, Turn A, not G, not X, Wing, Seed, 00, IBO, and so on. There are problems with this, like G and X being missing. They are both mainline Gundams, War in the Pocket, as well as sequel series like 00 Season 2 and its movie, and Seed Destiny as well, are also missing. The roster itself has started to see itself packed with DLC suits, all at the somewhat affordable price of $5 a piece. The one game where I'd rather have a season pass and get all the suits. Each suit you play has its own experience bar, which you fill up with playing matches, or single player, or what have you. With that experience you also earn GP, the game's in-game currency, that you can't use to buy new suits, but strikers, which are assists that you can use with any suit you wish. More on that later. Leveling up each suit also lets you earn emblems, titles, and even navigators, who speak to you in combat. I personally don't use them, because they're annoying. The UI for this game is pretty easy to gauge. You have your health at the bottom left, all of your ammo counters to the right, your boost gauge at the bottom as well as your burst/awakening gauge. Burst/awakening is a move that you can activate at 50% or higher to receive either a damage or defense buff, as well as replenishing ammo for you and your partner. You also move really fast. At the top right is your mini-map, and on the top left is your shared health pool for you and your partner. There is a little ring around the center of the screen which also shows where your enemies and where your partner are. You'll probably be using them all. So how the game works is you have a choice of suits varying at different costs from 200, 300, 400, and 500. Every time you or your teammate dies, it depletes that cost from your shared health pool, which is at 1000. So if you have two suits, both at 500 costs, and your partner dies, you lose 500 health, and your partner respawns. But once that pool hits 0, you lose. So deplete the enemy health before yours goes down. Another thing is, if, say your teammate dies at 400, and then you die at 500, you're left with 100. That 100 becomes your health. So you end up becoming overcost and spawning in with less health and sometimes even less ammo, depending on the suit. Let's get down and dirty with the gameplay. Like I said earlier, the game is a 2v2 fighting game where you're pretty much given 5 buttons to work with. Sounds easy enough. 5 buttons, you get your A, B, C, D, and striker. A being shoot, B being melee, C being boost, and D being scan or change target. As well as striker being your assist. Sounds simple enough. Then you get your button combination, sub being A plus B, special shooting being A plus C, special melee being B plus C, boost dive being C plus striker, and burst being A, B, C. With all this, you also get directional moves like 2B, 8B, 4A, so on and so forth. So the game is a lot deeper than it looks, but it's still easy enough for new players to get by. The boost dive and striker system are both new to this iteration of Gundam Versus, and both are kind of strange. Boost dive makes it pretty much you can land at will if you have the boost for it, making it harder to punish landings, so a lot of the game is more horizontal than vertical. while the striker system allows for any suit, good or bad, to use high or low tier strikers. It makes weaker suits better, but also makes stronger suits better. The net play is pretty good, but the same can't be said of people's connections. The region restrictions are also rather strange, as they lock to countries rather than continents. Canadians can't join US rooms, and most Euros can't even play together unless it's set to worldwide. It's still a solid game, and a lot of this is just nitpicky garbage. The music for Gundam Versus is all there, outside of if you're a Western fan. You miss out on the Premium Sound Edition, which has more music, but also for more money. It's not censored at all, like Dynasty Warriors Gundam games. As for graphics, they're passable. They're not bad, but they're not great either, mostly because the game runs at a rather solid 60 frames. You'll see dips here and there, especially in survival and trials. So as a Gundam fan, can I recommend Gundam Versus? Sure. If you're looking for a solid single-player experience though, you might probably pass on this one. The single player is a weak point in this game, and it's easily skippable or doable in a few hours. If you're a fighting game fan and looking for something new or different, this could be something you could be interested in. I'm not you. If you're just a regular old Gundam fan and you're okay with it lacking its G and X suits, then give this a shot. Though, with how late it is, I'm sure you already own it. Till next time.